Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and I'd like to thank Mindy Eisenberg for donating her time to teach this wonderful yoga class. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mindy to tell you a little bit about herself and her organization, Yoga Moves MS.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this class. Welcome to Big October Wellness Challenge. I am honored to be here with you. Just a little bit about me and Yoga Moves MS. My mother had progressive MS, and that kind of spurred me into this journey. And I took yoga, my first yoga class, when I was about 30 years old. And just loved it. And I'm hoping if you're new to yoga that you're going to love it as well. And there's going to be question and answers that you can ask us in the separate session right after class. So feel free to jot down your questions or think about them and place them in your little pocket or in, what do we say, in a little basket to the side. A lot of times we say that when we're meditating, that, you know, if a thought comes in, stick it in the basket and we'll come back to it. So Yoga Moves MS is a nonprofit. We've been around for 15 years or more, and we provide daily adaptive yoga moves classes every day. So you can find us if you go to yogamovesms.org. All our teachers have been mentored by me and trained and are experienced, and we would love to have you in our virtual classes. They are donation only classes. We are a not-for-profit, and we are out there to make yoga accessible to everybody and anybody. The idea is there's a lot of people out there, and maybe you are one of them, that's afraid to try yoga. And I hear about it all the time. I get people who tell me they had our flyers for years, and then they kept it. Something made them try it, but it took them a while to get up the courage to even make the phone call. And that I just have a theory. It's because we see these pictures of it almost seems unreal, of these people doing these poses that most bodies would have trouble fitting themselves into. And so there is a whole movement out there that people should know, no matter what challenge you are facing, as long as you are breathing, you can do yoga, and hence the name of this session. So we're going to focus a little bit today on breathing, because breathing is what yoga is all about. It's not necessarily the fancy poses that you see in the journals and different media and social media out there. It is about breathing, and yes, the movement comes together with it. And there's so many things that we can do to help ourselves in our self-care routine with a breathing practice. And it can help with several MS symptoms, such as balancing our energy level, balancing fatigue. So I have students who tell me their spasticity quiets down when they soften their breathing. You can use it as a quiet time, and it might be just a minute or a 30-second break. I have students who tell me they're in the MRI machine. They're getting their MRI and they practice their breathing. So you can really do it at any time of the day. And so when I present about breathing, you may have some questions that come up for you. I know there's a lot of questions about, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? So let's just start with, how are you breathing now? You can use yoga or breathing as a check-in. And this is about the inner body. And yoga is about connecting our mind, our body, and our breath together. So when we kind of take our breath pulse, we are checking in with how am I doing right now? Which is why yoga and breathing practices can bring us to the present moment. So if you will, take one or both hands to your belly. And you may decide to close your eyes and you might not. So you're in a comfortable position. You are most likely in a seated position because you are going to do some chair yoga. But if you're watching the class, you may be lying down. If you're seated, try to sit tall, not rigid. I like to put this yoga mat behind me. It's a rolled mat. You could potentially put some type of rolled towel or cushion, but the mat's kind of nice and firm. And if you lean back into it, it gives you some support. And so it's really nice to just lean in and have that support. It's a yoga practice. And as you bring your palms to your belly, and perhaps you softly close your eyes. And don't try to change anything. Just notice how you're breathing at this moment. So some of the things that we look for or try to feel, because really yoga is about sensation. Whether we're moving or practicing our breath, it's about sensation. Notice the sensation of breathing. So one of the places we can notice the sensation is the belly moving in and out. As we breathe in, the belly expands, it gets bigger. Like you can think of it like a balloon. Don't worry, it won't stay that way. And then we exhale and it softens back down. So it goes back inward. So there's this breathing in, expansion, and breathing out, softening back down. And then you might take your hands to your rib cage, the sides of your rib cage, one or both. And as you breathe in, notice what the rib cage does. So we breathe in. You might feel some spreading of the ribs as it moves they move side to side. And then we exhale and they go back to the normal position. And then we do it again. And they expand. And we exhale and we let that go. Now, another place you can feel the breath is if you place a finger underneath your nose. So you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you might feel some warm air touching your nose. Now, what's really important is to breathe in and out through the nose. Many of us are mouth breathers, but there is a magic in breathing in and out through the nose. It helps to relax our nervous system. And there are so many health benefits. If you talk to breathing experts, they will tell you the mouth was not really intended for breathing, the nose is. It's actually a filtration system. And so as you exhale, the little hairs in your nose and nitric oxide that comes in and out through your nose, you don't have to remember any of that, but it's a cleansing effect. Now, when we breathe through our mouth, go ahead and do that. Take a ha, which is okay, but we would not want to do this on a regular basis. Because what that does, think about when you're out of breath and there's this, you're out of breath. And so it doesn't bring you to that steady balanced state. But when you breathe in and out through your nose, it has the ability to calm down that fight or flight reactionary response. And it takes time. So if we are a mouth breather, which by the way, many are, so please don't have judgment about that. If we are a mouth breather, over time, it can be changed. And it's changed by doing what we're doing right now, which is to practice and notice. And the mindfulness component, one of them is to be compassionate to ourselves and know this is a habit that we've been doing for a lifetime and that it takes time to change. Just by practicing, your awareness starts to trickle in and you realize, oh, I was holding my breath, or, oh, I'm breathing out through my mouth. So we want to refrain from judgment. And so we softly close the lips, and you can relax your tongue on the roof of your mouth and feel at the very back of the tongue. There's where the tongue is kind of rooted, and you try to soften it so it gets a little plump as you relax the tongue, and then it just kind of places on the top of the roof. That is a nice place for it to be, and a functional place for it to be. We take over, on average, 25,000 breaths a day. So what you are doing is really important. In fact, we could argue that it's the most important thing that you're doing, is practicing your breathing and noticing your breath. Now, go ahead and take one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Doesn't matter which one. And notice expansion. Now, you may feel it in the belly first, and you may feel it in the chest first. Another commonality is that many people are chest breathers. And so what we want to do over time is switch it so that we've got a full breath. We're starting with expansion in the belly, then the middle rib cage, then the heart. Now, this is something that's going to expand first, and then it's a descending back down, heart, middle rib cage, belly. Is this happen right away? Absolutely not. So we just practice over and over again. It's like each breath is a new beginning. We say that in yoga. Each breath is a new beginning. It's the present moment. Let's do that again. So breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose. And breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose. Now, other traits, if you will, that we're looking for with the breath is noticing the length or the duration of the inhale and noticing the length or duration of the exhale. And we're looking, is it about even? Is the inhale longer than the exhale, or the exhale longer than the inhale? These are just facts and things for you to take in. As we practice, we're looking for an equilibrium where the inhale and the exhale are about even. And then over time, as we practice the breath more and more, we might decide that we want more of a relaxation response. And so then the exhale is going to get a little bit longer to help us relax. But for now, if you're new to breathing practices, I suggest noticing and let the breath become more at a homeostasis or more of a balanced state. And then we work from there. Now, lying down is a great place to practice your breath. So I just want to mention it to you. And it is in one of the sessions that I do later in the month with restorative yoga, showing how you can put a rice bag or a bean bag. This is a yoga sandbag. You don't have to have anything fancy, or maybe even a heavy pillow or a stack of towels on your belly. And if you place it on your belly when you're lying down, it'll put a little bit of pressure there, which people love. It seems to relax the nervous system. And at the same time, it gives you some feedback about whether you're belly breathing or not. So that's a nice thing you can do. You can use a rice bag, a bean bag, a sandbag. You can also apply pressure to your belly with a little bit of pressure in as you inhale, just a little pressure so you can feel the belly expanding into your palms. And then as you exhale, you'll feel the belly go back in. So you'll feel the pulse in your palms, just with a little pressure. Now the air should be light going in and out through your nose. So try again, put your fingers underneath your nose and breathe in and out. It's generally a warm air. So we notice that, oh, the breath is warm. A cooler air on the inhale. Now there's a breathing called feather breathing. And that's where if you want to have a really relaxed breath, you imagine a feather, or you could get a feather and put it underneath your nose. And the feather wouldn't move. as you breathe in and out. That's a nice, soft, calming breath. So when we practice our movement, which we're going to begin, we'll go for more of an even breath. But please, and I'm going to provide cues for you. I'm going to take this mat out. Otherwise, it's going to fall as we begin to move. Don't worry about it. Yoga teachers generally give you cues that when we lift or we rise in some way, that it's an inhale, and then as we exhale, we're lowering the arm back down. That's a general rule. And another general rule is then when we're practicing core, we're exhaling and pulling the belly and the pelvic floor in and up. Again, this is probably too much information, but for those of you who practice yoga, you might relate to it. So we're going to just begin by sitting tall in our seat, and you might want to wiggle or go side to side so that you feel the sensation of your sitting bones. So kind of rocking forward and back or side to side. And let's find that center point. So it's the center point where we're sitting up, and you can imagine that there's a string on top of your head and you're gently lengthening, and there's more and more space in between your vertebrae. So you're lengthening skyward. And then take an exhale out through your nose and angle your sit bones down towards the earth. I call the earth, it's the yoga mat. It's the floor. So if you hear that, earth means the floor, but you know, it sounds more yoga-like because we're into the elements like earth, air, space, water, and fire. And so the mat is the earth. So we inhale, and we're going to feel the breath lift through our body. And then on the exhale, we're anchoring our sit bones as we exhale, and you're going to feel a little bit of toning in your belly. Now, as we become more active, we're toning the belly. When we're relaxing, we're not necessarily, it's a little bit of toning, but not as much. Now we're going to increase it a bit. So we inhale, and as you exhale, press your feet down into the earth or into the yoga mat and feel what happens. So your muscles may be activating. If you touch your thighs, go ahead and feel that your thighs activated just from pressing your feet down into the mat. And then let's let that go. Now, anytime I'm talking and I describe a movement or a posture, you don't have to hold it as long as I am. I tend to talk and give you some things to think about, and you can always let it go. You don't want to fatigue yourself when we do yoga. We want people to feel really good and refreshed after the class. So we're going to inhale now and lift the right arm up. Now I'm mirroring you. So we're going to inhale, lift the right arm towards the sky. Now, is your movement going to be necessarily all the way to the sky? It might be here, your elbow might be bent, and that's okay. You're going for your range of motion, not mine. Yoga is about taking care of yourself and doing what is safe for your body. Exhale, let's lower the arm down. So the motto is no pain and all gain. Pain is a message to stop and kind of look at what's going on, and instead of react like I'm going to push through this, stop and notice what you're feeling, back off, and maybe start again and not go as far. So no pain, all gain. Let's lift the left arm. Inhale, the left arm rises towards the sky. And just notice, try to relax the shoulder down. Feel the air on your hand, on your arm, and exhale through your nose as you lower the arm back down. On our next inhale, let's take the right arm out to the side. And then exhale and lower the arm down. Let's inhale and lift the right arm again. And you might gaze at your fingertips. Turn the palm upright and feel whatever there is to feel. You may feel the shoulder blade come in towards your spine or your back. Let's turn the palm back down and notice what you feel. And now turn it back up. And we just notice. Repetition is a really good thing. It gives us more information each time. And our body learns with each movement. It absorbs in what we're doing. Inhale, take the left arm out to the side. Maybe you're gazing towards the left. Now, if you feel the shoulder blade coming forward, draw it back. Let's exhale and lower the arm down. We're going to inhale and lift it again, turn the palm upright, and notice how the shoulder goes back naturally. And then turn the palm back down and lower the arm. Let's move towards cat-cow with breathing. Now, I'm going to take off the sweatshirt so you can see the back more and turn to the side. So cat-cow is a pretty common pose that we do in yoga, or you could just do at any point in the day. And what's really nice about it is that there's really no contraindications to this that I'm aware of. We're going to breathe as we make a wave with the spine. So we're going to exhale and take the chin towards the chest as you exhale through your nose. And you'll notice how the back rounds. It makes a curve like a cat. We're almost at Halloween, right? So think about the cat, and you're going to feel the shoulder blades expand. Now let's inhale, lift up, and draw the shoulder blades together. Feel the blades moving in towards each other. Heart is lifting. Keep the back of the neck long. So we don't want to drop the neck back. The neck doesn't like that. Just a nice long extension of the neck. Let's exhale and round again. So chin towards chest. We lean back. You might feel yourself going back on your sitting bones. Those are the little pointy bones that you're sitting on. And then we inhale, we lift up, take the shoulders up and back. Now the heart is lifting up. I like to imagine a balloon in the center of the heart and it's rising towards the sky. One more time. Exhale through the nose, lean back. The shoulder blades expand and spread. Now, a lot of people are tight in between the shoulder blades and you may feel that. So you just notice it. Feel the sensation in between your blades and in the middle of your back. And then we inhale and we lift back up. So that's a waving of the spine. Really nice thing to do either as part of your warm up for yoga or at any point in your day when you're feeling like your spine needs a little bit of a stretch. It's reversing one way and then the other. Take your shoulders towards your ears on your inhale and then exhale, draw them around and about. So again, feel the sensation. This is like a little massage that you can give to yourself. And it should, again, not be painful. You might notice some grungies or kind of little, you might hear a little noise going on. And you can think of that as the muscle fibers separating that might be kind of sticky. Inhaling shoulders up and exhaling around and about. And now we're going to warm up the neck a little bit. And again, if you have anything going on in the neck and it doesn't seem right, please don't do it. We're going to turn our nose and our chin towards the right and then inhale back to center. I like to be real gentle, especially with the neck. It takes on a lot. It holds this heavy head. This heavy head weighs, I don't know, I've heard anywhere from 8 to 12 pounds. It's a lot for this little part of our spine to hold. Turn your chin the opposite way towards your left. Notice you may feel a little stretching going on. And then inhaling back to center. We're going to take a side bend. And a lot of students tell me that they feel better from these side bends. In fact, they tell me that when they get the MS hug, that this is one way it helps alleviate it or lessen it. I have one student who says she does banana pose every day, which is making a C curve with your whole body when you're on the mat or in bed. And that really helps her MS hug. So let's take, there's all kinds of side bends. We're going to take the right arm up. And again, you may be here or you might be here. So you're going to feel a little stretch. Try to drop the shoulder. If you feel like the right shoulder is lifting up as you do this, try to drop it down. And then the left hand can be on the side of the chair to help with balance. That is one option. We draw both that shoulder back as well. And then we'll take our side bend. It's going to be towards the left. And you'll notice that you feel a stretch on the right side of the body. So take a breath in. You're going to feel expansion, ribs are spreading. And then exhale, let's come back upright and lower the arm back down. And just notice. So now we're going to say, okay, how does one side feel to the other? Let's do the other side. So now we're going to take the right hand to the side of the chair. You can also leave it in your lap. And some people take both arms up. We're going to take the left arm up. Now I'll just show it so you can see it. First, I'm going to remind myself to drop the shoulder down. Then I might use the right hand on my wrist or forearm to give a little gentle lengthening as we side bend. So first we lift up tall, press down through your sitting bones, down through your feet. Take your side bend towards the right. You're going to notice a stretch on the left side of the body. You can even take your hand there if you want to feel it, but don't worry, you don't have to. Take a breath in. That's the expansion. Take a breath out. That's the softening. Let's inhale, take the arm back up and exhale and lower it down. Next inhale, let's warm up the feet. The feet are so important. They are the foundation. We warm up our feet. It impacts almost all parts of the body. And in reflexology, we know that different parts of the feet are connected with different organs and different systems in the body. Inhale, just giving you a few little tidbits as we go, because yoga is really about a system and about a whole body approach. And that may be different than other types of exercise and modalities. Inhale and lift your right heel. So you're pushing down through the ball of the foot. By the way, we like to do yoga barefoot, if that's okay with you. Again, not a requirement, but it really is nice to be able to feel your feet and to be able to move them to the extent that you can, and shoes can prevent that. And then we're going to exhale and lower the heel back down. Now, of course, several people with MS have numbness in their feet. And so in yoga, or numbness in different places in their body, I should say. In yoga, we say that numbness is a sensation. And yes, it's different than you used to feel or than you might have felt before, but it's still a sensation. And so you might notice as we lift the left heel, what does this sensation feel like? And we press down from the big toe mound all the way across to the pinky, and then exhale and let that go. Extend your right heel forward. You can hold on to the side of the chair and maybe come towards the edge of the chair a little bit, and then press your heel down into the mat and pull your toes towards you. As you pull your toes towards you, your heel is pressing away. You might spread your toes, but you're not allowed to look at them. So inhale, imagine your toes spreading. Why do we say that? Because people tend to growl at them if they're not doing what we tell them to do. Now exhale and let that go. And again, push your heel down. Try not to lock the knee. You can even touch behind the knee and give it a little bit of a massage or just a little pressure so that the knee doesn't lock. And so we're pressing the heel down. We're pulling the toes towards us. Now let's point them away. So point your toes away from you and notice how you feel. Inhale, pull the toes towards you and drag it back in. Now, the reason we're doing point and flex is because we're going to get a stretch along the front of the leg and the back as we do that. Drag the left heel forward and take your time. Push the heel down. Pull the toes towards you. Take an inhale and an exhale. Let that go. And point your toes away from you and flex them towards you. Feel length in the spine. Breathe. We're going to do it again. So you're going to point and feel the stretch along the front of the shin. And then as you pull the toes towards you, feel a stretch in the back of the calf. And exhale and pull the toes back in. Now I want to show you a yoga mudra for strength. And sometimes we use yoga mudras as a way to encourage an energy in our body. So this one's about strength and courage. It's called Ganesha Mudra, which in the philosophy of yoga is the elephant. You may have seen Ganesha. And several people keep a Ganesha in front of their entryway for good luck. So he's a real friendly character, a mythology character. And so it's a hand mudra. And so again, now this is yoga in your hands. And that's especially why I like mudras, because things you can do with your hands to strengthen them and your fingers. You're going to take your right hand in front and then your left hand in back and curl your fingers in. And you can see here. So I'm curling in, rolling them in. And then you can relax your elbows down and your shoulders down. And we don't want you to, again, stress into the shoulders. So we relax them down. Then we're going to take an inhale, breathe in through your nose. And on the exhale, pull your fingers away from each other, but keep them interlaced. And then relax the elbows and the shoulders because it's going to come in. I want you to feel your strength. The right hand is pulling into the left fingers. The left hand is pulling into the right. We're curled in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pull them away. Now think about strength here. We're breathing in. We're breathing out. You might notice one side is pulling more than the other, so we can kind of even that up a little bit. Breathe in. Give it a gentle pulling away. Exhale, let it go, and then shake that out. Let that go. Now, anytime you're feeling like you want to encourage more strength into your body, that's a great place to go. You could take maybe 10 breaths here, in and out, as you gently pull the fingers apart. Now, we do it now to the other way. So you're just going to take now your left hand in front of your right, curl the fingers in, relax the elbows and the shoulders. And that may mean letting the elbows come down a little bit. And then we're going to pull away. And you might notice there's a difference. We're pulling towards the right and the left as our fingers are interlocked. Now, notice if any tension is going into the neck or the jaw, because we are humans. That's what we do. We transfer tension around. So we pull away on the inhale. And then the exhale, let it go. Inhale and exhale and release. So there's this strengthening and then a releasing. So if there's any fatigue that you start to feel creeping in, you can let the pose go and go back at it perhaps a little bit later. Now, let's look at a pose that I love for spasticity. And I do this in almost every class. And so it's because it's a leg stretch and it can help with the spasticity. And you can do this in bed, lying down. You can do this seated in a chair. So we're going to take the tie and place it around the foot. Now, if you don't have a tie with you, let's just stop right there. If you don't have a tie with you, you can interlace your fingers underneath the leg you're going to want to come a little forward in the chair, and you can press your interlaced fingers and palms into the back of the leg, and then you're pressing the back of the leg into the palms. And the leg may be up and it may be down. Now the strap is really nice, and you don't need a fancy yoga strap. You can use a belt. A belt from a robe is great. You can use a long scarf. You can use an old men's tie that you're not using anymore. That is actually really great for it. Something that's not stretchy, because this is more about stretching than those stretchy straps you've seen you may be using with different exercises. But in yoga, we tend not to use those. So I've got the strap around my foot, draw the shoulders up and back, and then lift the leg anywhere between 1 millimeter off the mat and possibly hip height. Once the toes are up, I'm going to check out my shoulders, draw them up and back. Take a breath in and out as I push the heel away. Breathe right here. And then we can exhale and lower the foot back down. Take a little break. Now, if the leg is heavy, right? So you're working your strength even when you're lifting your leg up, and we're getting that stretch. You're getting stretching and a little bit of strengthening at the same time. We're going to inhale and go again. So you might lift the leg anywhere from 1 millimeter off the mat all the way up to hip height. Shoulders are up and back. Now push down through the opposite leg. So we're going to push down through the left as we lift the right. Let's turn the toes out and the kneecap out. So we want the toes and the kneecap going the same direction, and then we're going to get a little bit of a different stretch because we have more than one hamstring. We actually have 3. And we're going to inhale and bring the toes back up, and exhale and let that go. Just feel the difference. Now, if you have one leg that's tighter than the other, you might stay a little bit longer on that side. And that's the thing about adaptive yoga and making the practice your own. You might stay longer on one side, or you might go back and do it twice. We're going to go to the left side now, and I'm going to show it with the fingers interlaced behind the thigh so you can see it both ways. Interlacing the fingers underneath the left thigh and stretching the leg long. Then on the inhale, we'll lift the leg. Try not to lock the knee. You can even, if your hand reaches, you can put your hand behind the knee and kind of check it out. When we're really tight, often there's a lot of tightness behind the knee. You can give it a little massage if you'd like. And then we're going to exhale and lower it down. Take an inhale in and an exhale out. That's the pause. We take a pause. And we're going to inhale, lift the leg. Anywhere, right? Anywhere in between. One way isn't right and one way is not wrong. Only thing is wrong in yoga is pain and injury. So we want to make sure we feel safe. Let's turn the leg out so the heel goes in and the toes go out. The kneecap is going the same direction as your toes. Feel the sensation, it changes. Inhale, toes back upright, and exhale and let that go. Now we're going to play with a core pose. I know that a lot of people think yoga doesn't necessarily work the core, but it definitely does. Functional breathing can work the core, and that's where we started today by looking at the breath. If you have a block or a toilet paper roll, this is a new thing in COVID, having a toilet paper roll to serve for a block. So, and the other thing you can use is a teeny exercise ball, but it has to be bigger than a tennis ball, kind of about this size. You can put that between your thighs. So if you don't have it, imagine it's there, and your inner thighs are hugging the block. And they're not squeezing it. That's a word I try to refrain from in yoga, but more of a toning. So take an inhale. And now on your exhale, as you exhale, at the end of the exhale, squeeze the block and lift in and up. Feel your belly. It tones a little bit, and a little bit of toning in the pelvic floor as well. And then exhale and let that go. Pelvic floor is the space in between our sitting bones. And so we're pulling it in and up. Again, if this sounds like something like, I don't know what she's talking about, let it go by the wayside and we'll learn it another day, or you can ask me a question about it in our question and answer session. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. At the end of your exhale, pull your belly in and up as well as the pelvic floor. Hug your block. Hug your block. Feel your strength here. And then let that go. So this is already working our core. Let's do one more. Inhale. And maybe we hold we're going to tone a little bit longer. As you exhale, tone your belly. Pull your pelvic floor in and up for 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, let that go. Now we're going to work on chair pose. I'm going to show it frontal view and then side view. Chair pose can be challenging, but it also is strengthening. Now it's nice to have a second chair or possibly a countertop in front of you. So I want to show this in front and then I'll show it to, actually this is blocking. I'm going to show it to the side in a moment. So here's chair pose. We're going to rock forward and back, and you can have a counter in front of you or another chair, something to help your balance, right? So as we rock forward and back, and this may be where you stay. As you inhale, it's forward. As you exhale, it's back. Go to the back of your sitting bones and feel the belly tone. Inhale, release that. Exhale, lean back, belly tones. We rock it forward and back. And then for chair pose, we may lift up off the chair. Again, it could be a millimeter. It could be you visualize lifting your buttocks off the chair, or your buttocks may lift off the chair for an inch or 2 or 3. So I'm going to show you. Your hands can be at your hips on the chair, or you might hold a cane or a yoga strap. Let me show you this because I love using a cane as a yoga prop. And so I want to show it. You either have your hands on the back of the chair, or if you feel like your balance is up for it today, and your body and your mind are up for it today, we rock forward and back. And as we lift off, we're holding the chair or a cane, the buttocks is going back. Notice your weight goes to the back of your feet. And then we exhale and we lower it back down. Now for the side view. When you're up, how long should you hold it? Well, let's begin by just holding it for a breath and then lower back down. This is helping the sit to stands that you might do in physical therapy. I'm going to turn the chair so you can see, and I'll show it with the chair in front. Now you can keep the block in or not. No, the block gives us some stability, so it's a nice prop to use, but it's also nice to try it without the block or the toilet paper roll to kind of see where we're at. So we're going to do one with the block in, and then we'll take it out. So we're going to rock forward and back, and then we may lift up. Weight is in the back of the feet, buttocks is back. Then we can tone our pelvic floor and angle the sit bones down. This is a lot going on, right? Let's lower back down. Take a little break. Where would you feel sensation in this pose? Well, a lot of places, but the big place is on the thigh. That's where you might notice it the most. I'm going to take the block out, and we're going to practice without, you can keep it in or out, your choice. And we'll rock forward and back, and we might hold it a little bit longer. Let me show you a few variations. So we press down as we lift up. That's called root to rise in yoga. And then we might play with one arm coming off or the other. Notice we're up a little bit longer this time. Or we might have our hands on the cane or a yoga strap, and we might lift our torso a little bit. Let's exhale and lower down. Now notice, are we holding our breath? Real possible to do that when we're doing a pose that's challenging. One more time. I promise that's it for this pose. And then we will move on to another core pose. I know you're excited about that. So hands are on the chair. We rock forward and back. This may be right where we're at. The butt comes off and we lower back down. And then we rock forward and back, and we might hold it. We might lift one or both arms up, gazing forward, sit bones down. This is like cat pose. Lifting our heart, our sternum, our collarbone. Exhale, release. Let it go. Take a little break. Now, I'm going to turn the chair around. You can use a second chair. It's really nice in yoga to use a second chair, or you can do it without. We're going to go for boat pose. Boat pose is another core builder. I like to show these because people love working the core. A lot of times at the beginning of an adaptive yoga class, I'll say, what do you guys want to work on? And there are a few students that always say the core. And some are like, no, 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 right? So anyway, again, the block can go in between your thighs or not. We're going to rock forward and back. Same thing like with boat pose. With chair pose. As we lean back, we might come up onto our tippy toes. And then exhale and release. Take an inhale and an exhale because we're working a little bit here. Now let's lean back, belly tones. Maybe we lift one arm up. Exhale, let that go. So you're breathing the whole while, right? But as you lean back, you're toning your belly. So you might squeeze the block a little bit more. Lean back. Maybe this time we lift the other arm. We're on our tippy toes. Hug the block as you at the end of your exhale. Heart is lifting. And let it go. I'm going to put the block down and show you a few other variations you can play with. You can put your feet on the chair in front of you. That's a nice way to go. And you can have your hands on the side of the chair. I should mention with adaptive yoga, there are so many variations that we could spend the whole class on one pose. And I know you don't want to do that. So we won't, but I'm going to hold on to the side of the chair and maybe lift the toes off the chair, the foot off the chair for just a moment, and then let it go. Shoulders are up and back. We will remind ourselves. I'm always reminding myself. So we just remember, try not to judge. Let's do the other side. Lift the other foot off. Does it matter if it lifts off? No, it's about the intention from the mind to the body of potentially lifting the foot back up and down. Take a break. Then we might play with, again, we might lean back, lift one up, and then the other. We might lift one arm. You're still holding on with the side of the chair. Those of you who are experienced, if you want to lift both arms, you can. And then release. We'll take our feet back down. And I'm going to put this to the side. Now we've toned our inner thighs, so now we got to stretch them out. Very often the inner thighs are tight. So we're going to go into goddess pose. Some people think of this as goal pose or football pose. So you can think it however you'd like. The toes are outward and the kneecaps are following the toes. Now, you can adjust. You can come in like this. If your inner thighs are really tight, don't go quite as wide. You can go here. You can go wide. If you're really stretchy, you might go out here. But that's not a measure of success in yoga. Someone emailed me this morning and he said, I might come to your class, but I'm not very good at yoga. And I said, yoga is not about being good or bad. It's not about being good or bad. In fact, the people who perceive themselves is not good, the tight ones who are really tight, they stand to benefit more in some ways. People are really loose, they're going to feel it more in the strengthening. So we're in our version of goddess pose with the feet. And then we can play with eagle arms. So we're going to inhale and lift our arms, and then we're going to give ourselves a hug. So wrap your left arm over your right, maybe touch your shoulders, give yourself a hug. Inhale, open it up. Let's do the other side. So right over left, give yourself a hug. Inhale, open it up. Now, if this is available to you at this moment, you're going to take your right arm over your left, go back to either the hug or maybe lift your arms up, right? Maybe your elbows go up. Try to drop your shoulders down your back. This may cause, or it might be that you feel a stretch in between your shoulder blades like cat pose, and that's okay. But if it's too intense, then we release it. Let's inhale, open up the arms. Exhale, take a break. Let's do a little taking the left shoulder forward and add a diag to release. And then the other side, this gets a nice little stretch on the side here. Push down through your feet, the whole foot, the center of the heel and across the ball of the toes. Inhale, come back up. And if some of these directions just sound like she's talking too much, you can let some of them go. You can let some of them go, but just not the ones related to safety. So they're all to help find alignment and to feel different things in the pose. And that's why repetition in yoga is so great, because we can keep changing our intention and where we're focusing in a pose. Now let's do the other side. So left over right, we lift our elbows, either give yourself a hug or lift your forearms up. Push your elbows away from you. That's going to cause more of a stretch in between the blades. If it's too much, then don't push so far. Maybe the hands touch each other as you wind around. That's only a function of the size of your bones. This is not available to everyone, and that is okay, right? Let's inhale, open it up, and exhale and release it down. On your next inhale, lift your toes, angle your sit bones down. Let's make cactus arms. Feel your shoulder blades on the back. Exhale, lower the heels. Bring your right forearm to your thigh. And then gaze at your belly, at your navel. You're going to round in a little bit. We're going to circle the left arm around and about a few times to open up. And you can make small circles. They can get a little bit bigger. At the same time, we're keeping this bottom shoulder open, so it's drawing back. There's a little pressure with your forearm on the thigh. And if you will, you can even push the thigh into your forearm. But again, that's kind of an addition. It's an optional. It's always optional, right? It's on the yoga menu. And then we might take the arm over the ear and stretch long. Your length, not my length. You might gaze down. You might gaze upwards towards your arm. Any place in between is fine. What we want to do is keep the back of the neck long. We're going to push down for our feet and rise up and exhale and release down. Take a breath and a pause. Inhale and exhale. And bring your left forearm to the thigh so we can do the other side. Pull the shoulder back. Gaze at the navel. That just helps round. It's a nice way. So we're rounding and we're purposely taking our shoulders forward. And then we open up. It's more of that cow. Circle the right arm around and about. You can gaze at your fingertips. That's a nice way to look at as you're moving, to become more aware of our body in space. And then we might lengthen the arm over the ear. The elbow may be bent this time. Depends. Where is our body now? We might lengthen. Feel the stretch. You're going to feel it on the side of your body. Push your feet down, root them down, Pull your knees so they're over your middle toes. Sometimes the knee comes in a bit, so try to push down through the whole ball of the foot from the big toe across to the pinky as you reach. Then we're going to press down and rise on up. We're going to do a spinal twist now. Spinal twist, you got to do your twists a day. We have all kinds of discussions in yoga about twists, and you want to do them. You can do a twist in bed, a lying down twist. I show that in one of the other classes coming up. It's in the restorative class, I believe, but we want to make sure we're doing a twist every day at least. The gunk in here, our organs, they all can get kind of stagnant. And so we want to make sure we do some type of twist. I'm going to show 2 twists for you. The first one is to take your left arm outside your right thigh and your right hand behind the chair. And you might adjust yourself, your sit bones on the chair. We're going to lift our shoulders up and back. And then we'll start to turn our head last. The belly's toning. So take an inhale. Exhale, belly tones. As you twist, neck turns last. Eyes can be open or closed. We're drawing the back shoulder back. And then we lift up. Imagine that string on the top of your head, and you're gaining length through your vertebrae. You can hold here for 3 to 5 breaths as long as you wish. And then inhale back to center. You can feel the difference, especially when you hold it for a little bit. And it takes a while to get into these poses, so it's nice not to rush through them. Let's go for the other side. We're taking our right hand outside our left thigh, and you can push your thigh into your hand into your thigh, and then we'll direct the left arm behind us. It can be on the seat of the chair or the upper part of the chair. Pull your shoulders up and then exhale them back. Take an inhale. Draw your awareness to the bottom of your spine. And then as you inhale towards the upper part, all the way to the crown of your head, as you twist towards your left, the left shoulder is opening. It's really a nice shoulder opener as well. Breathe in. Breathe out. Few breaths. Notice how when you're breathing in, when you're in a twist, there's a little bit, you're going to feel a winding around of the breath, right? Because the body's twisting. Head is last. A lot of people, there's a tendency to crank the neck. We do not want to do that. Inhale back to center. Just notice how the body feels. Now, you can do another twist. I'll show that. We're going to turn to the side, and then we'll be winding down. So we're going to turn towards the side. You can take the back of the chair. So we lift tall, and then again, we lift, and then we exhale, we tone the belly. The twist is really coming from the navel up. You can use your hands on the back of the chair. Elbows can be relaxed but out to the side, and you get to use the chair as some leverage. And then you stay there for a few breaths. And we come back to neutral, back to center. Notice how your body feels. There's no rush in yoga, right? There's no rush. Let's go to the other side. Knees are facing one way. Doesn't really matter what side you do first. We have 2 sides. Then we're going to take our hands to the back of the chair, draw the shoulders up and back, relax the elbows as you twist. I like to use the back of the chair. It's really nice for leverage. Bring your awareness even to the bottom of your feet as you press them down. Breathe in and breathe out. Take a breath in through the nose and out through the nose. In and out. We'll return to center. The final pose in yoga is considered the most important. And this is a place to let yourself absorb all the work you've done. Now, in my restorative class that you can see later in the month, that whole section is on restorative poses. So the last pose, which is called Shavasana or relaxation pose, is a place for the body to let go. You're in a posture, but you're also letting go. So we're not trying to control anything. You can relax your back of your hands on your lap. Draw your shoulders up and back. Now you might place that yoga mat back behind you. That's a nice thing to do for the spine for support. We might soften the eyes by letting the eyelids close. Focus is on the breath. It's a focusing on the air coming in and out through the nose. You might focus on the belly once again. As we breathe in and out, tongue is resting in the upper palate. Feels kind of plump. And we can do a little body scan. So in Shavasana, you could make your Shavasana a few minutes or 15 or 20 minutes. It's allowing the body to absorb what you've just done. It's a place of letting go, kind of like the leaves falling off the trees. Trees letting go of the leaves. And with each exhale, you're letting go of any tension in your body. From the bottom of your feet, in your legs, letting go of tension in your hips, in your spine. Inhaling and exhaling, softening any holding in the belly. Relaxing fingertips and elbows. Neck, scalp, jaw, and forehead. You can stay here as long as you wish. I'm going to bring my hands to my heart and stack the palms over the heart so you can feel your heart beating. Feel the warmth as your palms touch your body, your heart. You might feel your heartbeat. You might even give it a little massage as you press your palms just gently with circular motion. Yoga is an act of self-care, an act of self-love. We can fall in love with our body over and over again. Find an inner smile and imagine it across your chest, across your belly, and most importantly, or not really necessarily most importantly, but lips coming up as you bow in the pose of a smile, bowing your head toward your fingertips in prayer position. Feel your palms touching. At the end of a yoga class, we say namaste, and we've opened up the light through our practice in our body. Sometimes it gets a little dim, so we use our practice to open up, to remove the layers so that we can shine. And I can feel your light, and my light bows to your light, honors your light. We express gratitude. Gratitude for this wellness challenge, for MS Hope for a Cure. Thank you so much for being with me today. Please check out my other classes. There's one on spasticity. There's a share class in the library. And there is a restorative class coming up as well. And you might really enjoy that because people don't think about yoga as just being restorative poses. So that's a really nice little taste of it. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, Mindy. I want to remind everybody they can go back to the lobby and click on the Q&A sessions to meet Mindy and ask her some questions about yoga. So please go back to the lobby and click on the Q&A post session, and we will see you there in a few moments. Namaste.
Namaste.